I'm Ryan,
And I'm Kyle.
and we recorded and did the sounds for a little short student film called Bishop and Bodega. It's a little student film, very short, very basic, kind of funny, and I did the score. Kyle and I both did the sounds, which were a lot of fun, and we learned a lot and stuff. All of that, and I guess we'll just start talking about stuff in the film.
Alright.
So, basically, the film's really basic for sound design because all that it is it's just stabbing the entire time. It's just they're playing the game Five Finger Fillet. If you don't know what that is, I don't know what I'm gonna do for the video on this or whatever. But
something about this too that was kind of interesting. That was very similar to Beast. Actually, was this one doesn't have any speaking parts either.
Oh yeah,
so,
you're right. Actually,
it's another one where the audio is very much drives the emotion and the
That's true, actually.
So,
yeah, it's a lot easier too, I guess, since we don't have to worry about the voices and syncing all that up. Because doing voices afterwards are usually a pain.
Oh yeah.
But this wasn't so bad. The worst part about this film was just putting the sounds in. It wasn't really. I mean, it looks like it was really repetitive to do. But honestly, it only took like 2 or 3 recording sessions to get everything down because.
Yeah. Well, I mean
God.
I was gonna say, much like you run into the problem of doing like footsteps in a video game or something like that. You don't, even though it's the same sound over and over again, you don't want them to, come off repetitive because.
Right. Yeah, you can't repeat anything. Otherwise,
right, because when you think about it in real life, you make the same step and it's the same thing hitting the same surface, but each time is a little bit different. And if you only have like 4 or 5 different clips, in this case it would be the knife hitting the table, then you start to know, you pick up on that. And so really a lot of this was just getting a ton of samples, and just lining them up for, where they needed to be. So
yeah, it's that's true. I mean, when you walk, you hear your footsteps, like you said. I mean, for every million footsteps, not a single one of those are going to sound the same.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you could try and find the most similar ones as possible, but if you were to line them up and put them in a film like this, you wouldn't. It would sound smooth still. Basically, it wouldn't be totally just like you would be able to tell if you were to get the same exact. It's a huge difference between taking the same exact sound versus incredibly similar sounds.
Yeah. Especially since they're right back to back to each other too.
Yeah.
And so because it's so soon right after another, then it's definitely something that you pick up on more easily. So yeah, and it's definitely something you try to avoid in this. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the stabbing the table, it's not. I mean, that's a little bit easier to like find the same ones, even if you had to.
Yeah.
Stuff like the blood splatter in this film, though. We were really striving to get a lot of different unique sounds out of that because it was just splatter after splatter, and each of them had a different time frame of how long each splat was.
Yeah, because at first it's just little squirts, but at the end it's kind of just.
It's just explosions of blood. I guess we could talk about the. Story. There's not much to it. I was saying in the beginning, they're just playing Five Finger Fillet,
right?
Which is the game where you try and hit the knife in between your fingers on the table and hopefully not hit yourself. And these two seem to
suck.
Well,
no.
I was gonna go in the direction of like.
Well, I guess they never more. They're like so intense about trying to beat each other. I guess than
Well, they take
it too far. Yeah.
Well, they just met. They're just like, hey, they don't even introduce each other. Like, they can't shake hands after or anything because their fingers are gone by the end.
And well, I mean that, and I mean the fact that they, chop up their hands so much. The fact that, they just met, they just walked in, and then right at the end that what I'm assuming to be the bartender comes and just takes the drinks and is like, whatever, like
just a normal Sunday.
Yeah, no, it's there's something to be said about that. It's even though it's filmed as if it's a very serious thing, but in reality, is I don't know if satirical is the right word, but there's definitely a humor behind it.
I actually talked to the director of the film, and he said that it was supposed to be serious when they first made it.
Oh,
but in post we were kind of just like, but in post they were like, okay, this is hilarious. This is kind of goofy. Maybe this is kind of goofy. Maybe we should just go in the goofy direction.
Yeah,
and that sucked for us because we didn't want to. We weren't sure if it was
didn't want to offend anyone.
We weren't sure
especially for you doing the music for it. Not because that's really the emotional content right there. So I'm sure you didn't really know what direction to take it.
It was tough because I mean, he gave me the film. He didn't give me any context. He just said, do sounds for it, pretty much. And I contacted you, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. And well, I remember we came to a point where just like, is this supposed to be goofy? Like, is this supposed to be, or is this supposed to be serious? So we couldn't ask the director either. We couldn't be like, this is supposed to be a joke, right?
Is this bad, or is this really good?
This is supposed to be like... This is supposed to be really bad, or no? I mean, it's not bad. It's just that it's not serious, I guess. Yeah. I really hope he meant that when he said that it wasn't supposed to be serious. But yeah. So, and I guess the sounds are kind of goofier, while the score is a little bit more dramatic, which kind of works.
Which adds to the goofiness,
I guess it
ironically,
does, yeah. I guess you can kind of perceive it however you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it almost kind of went in the same way the film did, like being serious, but just it still managed to have that, humor element behind it, even, So
yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. It kind of just like. It just starts off serious, and then you don't. I guess you don't see it coming, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it was kind of funnier for us because we know the people that are acting
right. Yeah.
in the film too. So it's kind of just like I don't know. It's just kind of goofy to watch a little bit. One thing I learned in this actually. One big thing, Foley, clothing Foley is really important in films.
Incredibly so. It's very much one of those subconscious things that you're not aware of, but it makes everything it gives it just that real element to it,
And that's the thing, because
it feels
you don't notice it unless it's not there. If it's not there, you'll just be like,
yeah, it really does kind of fill that just empty space,
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the film like without the clothing, because I mean, like your clothes rustle. That's what we mean by clothing Foley, like stuff like that. Like you're moving your arms and there's a sound with that movement.
Right, like for them it'd be their their shirt sleeves. Even
exactly.
I don't know if we ended up putting it in, but even like their hats, because one of the guys' hats started falling off.
Oh crap! We forgot to do that.
But like. Alongside the footsteps, you've got your pants kind of switching together, just little stuff like that. But it really does make a huge difference in the end.
It's kind of surprising. Just such little stuff. Just little stuff like that. I guess another big thing in this one that I learned was to properly name your tracks in a session. Because when we did this, we named our tracks a bunch of nonsense. Kyle in particular named him a bunch of nonsense.
I guess we'll just go and tell them, but there's something to be said about naming your tracks actually what they were, because when we were originally going through this, and this was back in February, I guess. We had named all of our tracks after Sesame Street characters. Which,
And-
at the time we knew what they were, and just because we were working on the session, we were familiar with it. But, it's now, November, first day of November now, actually. And Ryan went back and he just had no idea where anything was, So
Yeah, I was going in to get some of the blood splats for a different project, and I swear I wasn't there for very long. Luckily, there wasn't a whole lot of tracks on the film, but geez, I could not find. And then finally, I found Bert, which was apparently blood.
B for blood, so Bert.
B for
yeah.
yeah.
So have the fun with it, but make sure you do what you need to do. So
yeah,
but,
I don't know.
we got it done, so it was okay. But still
No regrets. What else? I guess I could talk about the score a little bit.
Yeah, go for it. I did all of it.
Kyle did a great job with the score. He recorded every instrument with his mouth.
The whole, believe it or not, it's actually all beatboxing.
And it's actually all done in one take, every
Yes.
instrument at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I have multiple vocal cords that I can do it with, so,
Can you demonstrate for us, Kyle?
You know what? The
Yes,
World
go on.
Series the other night, I was yelling a lot, so, my throat's a little sore.
Oh, that's too bad. Oh, man. I was really hoping that everybody who is listening, like all 5 people,
Exactly.
would get to hear. Okay.
By the way, hello.
Well,
people.
then. Anywho.
Anyone who
this-
is stuck it out at this point. No, for real. Ryan did all of it, actually. So
Yeah, basically what I was really inspired by Dave Porter's music he's the composer for Breaking Bad. I guess I just finished up a binge with Breaking Bad,
yeah.
and I kind of just was just like, man, I love that soundtrack. Holy crap! Like when I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but it was just awesome. Specific parts of Breaking Bad, I was just overwhelmed by the soundtrack. And
surprising events that occurred at certain points of time in the show about people who must not be named.
This is a spoiler-free commentary.
Disclaimer.
But really, I don't know. I kind of wanted to make it a little bit like
Just kind of get
chaotic. Chaotic is the word I would go for. It's not chaotic in the sense of like distorted. It's more chaotic in the sense of
just the energy behind it. You mean?
Yeah. It's just it's chaotic and like they're clearly not like in a good mindset. I guess that it's not like that kind of way, but it's more like it's the intensity and the energy. Yeah, that's a good way.
Intensity
to put
is a good word for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have anything else to say about it. The one thing that was cool about it, you probably no one will be able to tell, but at a specific point in there was a glitch in the audio.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, there was a glitch in the music, and I was just like, and I was kind of annoyed at it at first because I use Logic Pro for music composition and Pro Tools for sound effects. If anyone wanted to know what we do, but
hashtag nerd stuff.
Yeah.
I just said that.
I guess.
Anyways,
you know what? This is over. I'm done. When I exported it, there was a little glitch. It was like an electronic sort of. How would you describe it? It was like a triangle wave or square. It was like a really distorted square wave synth sound that sort of just, and it was in perfect pitch with the other instruments that happened, and it even automated the volume. It faded into the sound. Yeah. Like faded in perfectly how the horns in the background were.
Yeah, because at that point it was like I believe it was at a rise, wasn't it?
It was. It was a crescendo. That's what it was. It was a crescendo. I can't think of the word. There was a crescendo, and it rose perfectly with it. And I'm really glad it happened because it worked so much better with the score. And
Yeah, no, it really was awesome.
Yeah, well, I was actually showing one of my friends this, and he was like, he was like, yeah, you make sure if you put the song on like iTunes or anything, make sure you say Bishop and Bodega featuring Logic Pro. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Oh, and so I guess we can conclude the story of the film.
Dude.
The hot dog fingers.
Yeah, excessive amount of hot dog.
I'm sorry,
Which is
real fingers, not hot dogs.
Oh yeah,
finger,
no.
yeah.
You know.
Right, yeah. They
You know what I really love is the facial expressions of the two actors.
I love that too. I like how the gentleman on the left, he how he falls asleep.
Yeah. And he like catches himself as he's just like,
man, this is boring. Is this guy really thinking he can compete with me? Like, talk about putting the competition to sleep. Like, I really don't know what else to say. Audio post production was done by Alexander Zahn. He does mixing for films. I'll put whatever contacts and stuff whenever whatever he gives me.
does he really go by Alexander?
No, but
Okay.
I mean, I think that's really it.
No.
I don't think there's anything else to talk about. I mean, there's some additional sounds in there, like the bottle shaking on the table and footsteps.
You know.
I get. Oh, we could talk about how we recorded. We didn't talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what the blood splatter sound actually was is cantaloupe.
How did we miss this huge topic?
Yeah.
We've been talking for like 20 something minutes.
Look at those stupid hot dog fingers.
Oh my god.
So basically, for the the blood splatter was just cantaloupe. We did stereo miking for that actually with a blue what's it called, blue Spark microphone, and what was the other one that we used?
No, well, we had a little bit of both if I remember right in there. We did the blue.
Yeah, no, we did the stereo pair of.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, we did do the same microphone, but.
Yeah, no. We used the blue Spark, for a lot of the mono stuff. But we did do a lot of it in stereo, and we actually used two of my Audix F9s, which are just little small diaphragm condenser mics. But yeah, I think we set that up in a XY pattern, if I remember right.
Yeah, we did.
So
which is basically, for those who don't know, it's just
they're basically both they're like
they're perpendicular.
Yeah, they're at a 90-degree angle basically.
Yeah, and they basically just get sound. It's pretty basic. It's just recording different directions and getting.
Right. Yeah, you basically get a left image and a right image, and so it
and you
makes.
It's pretty basic.
It's a very realistic sounding stereo miking technique. So, anywho.
Yeah. The but we kind of just the blood splatter. We went into. I think we went into your bathroom. The bathtub.
Originally we had started in my closet, and
right,
first it was fine, but eventually
was the problem, right?
Cantaloupe, Ryan was in there squishing it with his fingers and whatnot, and eventually it just squirted and got all over his hands and was dripping all over the place. So we had to move him into the tub actually.
Yeah.
So
that was...
which was kind of interesting because I was kind of worried about the acoustics in there. So because anyone who knows anything about audio. The bathroom is a square rectangle room with all hard surfaces, so for recording usually is, pretty horrible.
Yeah, I mean, the
but,
terrible echo, reverb, all of that.
Right, it's just, there's a lot of it, and it's not always the good kind,
Right.
It's not always nice sounding, because you get the reflections off the parallel walls and whatnot. But
can I just say, that cantaloupe was messy.
Oh, yeah.
that was awful. That was not easy to record.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I'm pretty sure it clogged your your drain in the bathtub. So I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, all
And
all the seeds and the I don't even know what to call it. The substance of the
seeds,
fruit,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, the brains. I have no
You
idea
know.
what to call it.
I think for this one, did we use all cantaloupe or did we use the watermelon for this one too?
The watermelon we did for the stabbing sounds, like so the
Oh,
puncture,
right, because the watermelon had the really thick skin on it, so we actually took a knife and
Yes.
just stabbed it.
basically we first tried to do the cantaloupe sounds for the puncture. We just tried to stab it with a knife,
Yeah.
or whatever.
It ended up being a little too soft though, so it didn't actually make that much of a sound.
Well, not only that, but there was a lot of pressure built up inside the cantaloupe, so it kind of made like a popping sound,
Yeah,
which was kind of weird.
it did. I remember that now.
Yeah, and we couldn't really use that because it was just kind of like, thunk, like every time.
Yeah.
Every time we did that, and it was just kind of a pain, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, because what we were looking for was more of a slicing, stabbing sound more than, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
So-
I guess the watermelon was really a better route. It wasn't as bad. And did we cut open the watermelon, or did we only do it from the outside? I think we only did it from the outside, right?
Well, for the stabbing sounds we did, but I'm pretty sure we actually did open it up and use some of the sounds from inside of it, like just squishing that for the blood.
You're right, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think we used any of it, though.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I think it was too watery.
Oh, yeah. Because watermelon's pretty airy, so I don't think it actually worked out too well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The stabbing the wood. That was just literally stabbing wood. I did something when I was recording the Foley that made it sound better or something. Do you remember that? Like there was something that we did specifically.
For the wood.
Yeah, I think we just got the right surface or something.
Yeah, well, because what we had is I had a bunch of like leftover wood basically. Because well, not exactly plywood. It's like that compressed that pressed wood kind of stuff. I had actually just got through building my my like rack case to put all my my rack gear in it, and it was just leftover pieces from what I had to cut. So we had a couple different sizes to work with. You know, so and if I remember, we were thinking a bigger piece was gonna bode for a better sound, just because it bigger like the table. But I think we actually ended up using the smaller pieces.
I don't remember that actually, guys. This was 6 months ago at least.
Yeah.
Like, or it was in February, 8 months, something like that.
Yeah, something
10
like that.
months. Wow.
Yeah.
No, 8 months. I'm sorry. I'm stupid.
Yeah. But what we had found, I think, if I remember correct, is that when we stabbed the knife basically straight down with the point, it wasn't really the sound that we were looking for. So I think we ended up kind of stabbing it at the side, with the blade part of it.
You're right. Yeah, we did. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that entirely. Actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's really not that much to this film.
Yeah. No. I mean, all in all, the plot, was simple. There wasn't a whole lot of scene changes or different people. It was basically one scene, one thing going on. So for audio, it kind of boded that way too.
Yeah.
But really, it's just a matter of getting it right and getting what we needed. So.
Yeah, timing the sounds was kind of a
big
deal. We were really worried about actually, or one. I don't know about you, but I was kind of worried about the splatting sounds fitting because we only had we literally I was just digging my hand into a cantaloupe. That's all the splatter sound here. We weren't pouring it on anything or anything like that.
No.
I was a little bit nervous about it working because it was within the cantaloupe. It wasn't the surface that the blood was landing on.
Right.
But I think it actually worked out because I think it worked out because it was kind of a little bit goofier.
Yeah.
A little bit. It was certainly. I mean,
it played along to the mood of it.
Yeah, and I think it's not goofy. I don't know what to call it. It was just it's unrealistic. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah. It was the right sound, but not. Yeah. It's a good way to put it. It wasn't necessarily completely realistic. So there's still, it still
We had a little
still
bit of
fits
leeway.
the scene, but it's got that just kind of element behind it that fit in with the humor of the whole film. So kind of much in a
Yeah.
way like a cartoon would be, you know?
Yeah, we had a little bit of leeway,
Mm-hmm.
and we got to be a little bit. I don't want to say creative, but we got away with a little bit more, I suppose.
Yeah.
It, that's really what it is. Another thing with the repetition sound I wanted to bring up was the fact that each splatter was kind of timed out differently, and we were talking earlier about how each of the stabbing sounds kind of sounds the same, but each blood splatter was sort of
Right.
a different length of time and a different intensity of the splat itself.
Yeah, because when the blood first shows up, there's not a whole lot of it. It's just kind of little squirts,
Yeah.
you know. And by the time blood's flying by the end of it, you know. So
Yeah, so we kind of had to we spent a good while. We went through. Oh well, actually, we only used one cantaloupe, I believe.
yeah.
So that,
Well, I mean,
that was
we
good.
we cut it into, I think, half. So we had.
Oh yeah, so we
So we
used
had
both halves.
we had a lot of samples, and even just getting one half of it, by the time you squish through the whole fruit, then
Yeah, absolutely.
this is definitely 10, 15 minutes of audio out of one thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, man. I don't have anything else to say. I don't think.
yeah,
I don't know. Do you? Or
I don't think so.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching, everyone. I'll be sure to. This will be in film festivals, which is kind of cool, or hopefully it will be. It's being submitted. I know. I talked to the director. It's directed by Evan Kent, and I'll put any links to the actual film. I'm not sure if it'll be out on YouTube or whatever at the time. I'll be sure to put all necessary links if you want to check out the film. Check out the film festivals it's in. See what happens with it. But yeah, just thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking it out.
Yeah, and sorry we.
Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah, hopefully we had it. Hopefully we're at least entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks,
All right.
everyone. Bye.